This is the Sri Ramana Maharshi satsang, a time to listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm not a guru or a teacher. I just love this teaching and so want to share it. I'm reading and commenting on the book Day by Day with Bhagavan. This week is from September 16th, 1945. A visitor asked, "What should one who is an absolute beginner do in this, that is spiritual, line?" Bhagavan: the very fact that you put this question shows that you know what to do. It is because you feel the want of peace that you're anxious to take some steps to secure peace. Because I have a little pain in my foot, I'm applying this ointment. Visitor: what is the method to be adopted for securing peace? Bhagavan: the conception that there is a goal and a path to it is wrong. We are the goal, or peace, always. To get rid of the notion that we are not peace is all that is required. Visitor: all the books say that the guidance of a guru is necessary. Bhagavan: the guru will say only what I'm saying now. He'll not give you anything you have not already. It is impossible for anyone to get what he has not already. Even if he gets any such thing, it will go as it came. What comes will also go. What always is will alone remain. The guru cannot give you anything new which you have not already. Removal of the notion that we have not realized the self is all that is required. We are always the self, only we don't realize it. The ashram compounder asked some questions about his experiences during meditation. Bhagavan explained that the self is the one reality that always exists, and it is by its light that all other things are seen. We forget it and concentrate on the appearances. The light in the hall burns, both when persons are present there and when they are absent, both when persons are enacting something as in a theater and when nothing is being enacted. It is the light which enabled us to see the hall, the persons, and the acting. We're so engrossed with the objects or appearances revealed by the light that we pay no attention to the light. In the waking state or dream state in which things appear, and in the sleep state in which we see nothing, there is always the light of consciousness or self, like the hall lamp always burning. The thing to do is to concentrate on the seer and not the seen, not on the objects, but on the light which reveals them. In this exchange, a visitor seeks guidance on the spiritual path. The visitor first asks what an absolute beginner should do in this spiritual line. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi emphasizes that the mere asking of the question about what a beginner should do already indicates that they have an awareness of their desire for peace. This awareness is the first step, recognizing the inner longing for tranquility. The most important asset for a seeker is their desire for liberation, their desire for peace. Ramana challenges the common notion of a separate goal and path to peace. He asserts that we are the peace we seek. It lies within. The misconception lies in thinking that we are not already in a state of peace. Removing this false notion is crucial to realizing our inherent peace. Bhagavan then dispels the belief that a guru imparts something new. Instead, he says that a true guru merely echoes what the seeker already knows within themselves. This highlights the recognition that the answers lie within our own being. Using the analogy of the burning lamp, Bhagavan then advises shifting our focus from external appearances to the internal light of consciousness. The key is to concentrate on the seer, the self, rather than getting entangled in the seen, which are the transient objects and experiences of the external world. Ramana further explains that the self, like the burning lamp in the hall, is always present. It doesn't depend on external circumstances or the presence of sensory experiences. Whether in waking, dream, or deep sleep, the light of consciousness persists. The crux of Bhagavan's teaching is the removal of the notion that we have not realized the self. This is just a thought, an idea. It is not reality. Recognizing that we are always the self, even when we don't realize it, is the key to attaining peace. Peace comes from the revelation of what was there all along. The focus is on realizing the self, not on acquiring something new. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. And now we have a talk from Nome, always.
That which you truly are, you are always. Not only is that immutable, it is eternal. What of you is eternal? What has a beginning and an end, a birth and a death, cannot be your very existence. For existence does not cease to exist at any time. Evidently, that cannot be the body, which has a beginning and an end. If your real nature is bodiless, What is it? What has a beginning and an end? In other words, that which is not eternal is merely a false appearance and not the reality of your being. Who are you? Thought is not eternal. It is momentary. What you are is always. If you are neither the perceptible nor the conceivable, what are you? The Upanishads declare that the self is Brahman. And Sri Bhagavan, Raghu, Hari Shankar, and others have proclaimed the nature of the self to be Satchidananda, being, consciousness, bliss. If you know yourself, therefore, Brahman knows Brahman, God knows God. To know yourself, inquire deeply within. At the depth of your very existence, who am I? Such inquiry brings a cessation to the imaginary conception of differentiation, such as Jagat Jiva Para, the universe, the individual, and the supreme. In the eternal, as the eternal, one finds complete peace and illimitable joy. Such are of your very nature. If you mistake yourself to be a limited embodied individual, then with such misidentification, bondage seems to be. And being bound, the innate happiness appears veiled, and such is a state of suffering. To be free of the suffering, liberate yourself from bondage. To become unbound, cease to misidentify. To cease to misidentify, inquire, who am I? As all forms are seen to perish, the eternal must be formless. Your very existence is formless. What is formless cannot possibly be multiple. Differentiation is only among imagined forms. Thus, if you have a form, or seem to have a form, likewise God and the world. If you are the eternal, pure existence, consciousness, bliss, there is no question of form or of differentiation. There is only one homogeneous, boundless, beginningless, endless, pure existence. and that is what you are. The self is only one. Your existence is invariably singular. There cannot be two selves, an eternal one and a transient one. A real self and a false self. An absolute self, or Brahman, and an individualized self. If you inquire to know yourself, penetrating the very heart of the apparently individualized existence, you will find only Brahman, the absolute self, which is one without a second, for all eternity. The interior, silent, direct experience of this, without cessation, is steady abidance, or true knowledge.
And now let's take some time to inquire, to make this experience our own. You exist, and you know that you exist. Inquire, investigate within yourself. How does my inner longing for peace manifest in my life? Do I recognize the inherent peace within. Can I shift my attention from external objects to the internal light of consciousness, recognizing it as the constant reality amid the changing scenes of life? What during meditation or daily life distracts me from recognizing the unchanging light of consciousness within myself? Who am I? What is the nature of my existence? What actually exists? What is always. All right. And let's close with our chant. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Now, I like the metaphor that Bhagavan used of the light in the hall.
It's a good one.
Yes, it's always going, even if the hall is empty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the deepest places in meditation that you can get to, maybe the deepest place, is of consciousness with no object.
That's infinity.
That's right, if you have to name it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only place, isn't it, when you're
Uh-huh.
meditating?
Well, if you're deep, otherwise you're still meditating like in mindfulness. You're meditating, paying on the breath. When you're inquiring, you're still investigating all of these ideas that you have about yourself. So that's all something until you're good.
Yeah, till you got it. Yeah.
That was a wonderful talk with Nome, always.
Yes, yes. You know, those are still jewels that we have, and I'm so glad that I had the sense to collect them for a lot of years.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Back in the old days, starting in about 2007 or something like that, or 2005, I started to buy CDs of every Sunday's satsang.
Yeah, I think I still have them too. Quite a collection.
And then I carefully converted them all to MP3 files
Mm.
and have been carrying them around ever since.
Mm.
And again, Ramana said what was, to me, one of the things really important that I first heard from Nome is that, you know, what we're looking for is not something else. We don't have to go anywhere else, do anything, hear anything. We're not transformed. You know, we just can know what is always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, this what is always there is my, kind of best view of this, because I do have, there is something that is always there. And I know because of inquiry that I've checked thousands of times. This question I asked, do you exist? Before I asked it in our satsang, I've asked myself, every day for years. And every time I asked, I did. And it seems like there's a pattern there that can get through this dense mind.
And the question will be burnt up in the pyre, funeral pyre.
Well, there's a time when the question isn't needed because you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, another good session, I think, and thank you for joining me.
It's wonderful.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.